The Ranveer Show Clips, India's smartest podcast highlights channel. Subscribe and hit that bell icon. Ma'am, so the final question that I have for you is that if you could just, again, sum up a lot of the knowledge that you've gained over the years and just give the young listeners who are primarily men, and I wish that wasn't the case, but they're primarily men. So if you could give men 5 kind of pieces of advice when it comes to relationships and love life, how can they keep their partners happy?
Okay, so if I was giving 5 pieces of advice, the first thing is that men need to, or young men particularly, need to understand that their partner is not them. So that means that I am me and you are you. And it's no point saying, I wouldn't do this or I don't think like this. You have to understand how the other person thinks. Take the time and trouble to say that person is different to me. Maybe they will need to be approached in a different way. Only because, think about it from, point number 2. Think about this as something that will benefit you. Don't think that you're saying, oh, well, I had to do this for my girlfriend or I had to do this for my boyfriend and it's so stupid. Think about the benefits to you. Okay, if you want something, if you want your relationship to go a certain way and you can understand how to make it go a certain way, it benefits you. So point number 2 was to understand that it actually benefits you so that you overcome that thing in your head about, because a lot of young men, particularly I find, have this huge issue about what their friends will think if they are seen giving in too much to a relationship. Point number 3. Women since we're saying this particularly for men, and they could have either male or female partners, but generally speaking, most women like the idea of more conversation. A man gets a text message, he'll read the text message as it is. A woman gets a text message, she will literally analyze every punctuation mark in it. There is a full stop here. Why did he put a full stop here? It's just the way that our brains are made. It's just how it is. So I find that one of the nicest things that the Kama Sutra says is about this exchange of messages. You have at the moment texts, you have WhatsApp and so on. Use that to the best of your ability, particularly because most guys are really not very good when it comes to face-to-face conversations. Okay? They're not very good at speaking. They're not very good at saying the right thing. But the text message can really be formulated to be perfect. Use it to your advantage. Flirt tremendously with your partner on text or WhatsApp. Use that to your advantage. Okay. Number 4, actually try and develop more interests. I know that generally, I have 2 sons and a daughter, so I can tell you this, that when they were growing up, the boys would come back from school, I would say to them, so what happened at school today? Nothing. That's it. Okay. My daughter, it's very difficult to get her to shut up. She wants to give you all the details. So guys, I know generally when they're with other boys, their conversation levels are fairly basic. It's not too much chatting, it's more grunting. There is going to be a need for conversation when you're with a partner. You can't suddenly develop that side of your brain that makes you a great conversationalist. Fine. Develop other interests so that you have something else to talk about. Okay? And finally, it comes down to communication. Instead of second guessing the other person and deciding that, okay, maybe this is what, this is what women like, or this is what partners like, or this is what we shall do. Not always, but a lot of the times it's really good to ask, especially if there is a hiccup, ask. If there's a problem or you can see that there's actually something coming through which almost could be an issue, don't try and figure out what you think would be the solution. Ask.
Got it.
It's the best way forward. I'm not saying that it's always going to be perfect, and I'm definitely not saying that it's going to be a bed of roses. It never is. But let that be part of the excitement.
Beautiful. Miss Seema Anand, thank you so much for being a part of the Ranveer Show. I will be linking ma'am's handles down below, guys. So make sure you go follow, make sure you go subscribe.